All right, so get this. Today we're going deep into cloud computing.
Oh, it sounds exciting.
It is. But we're not just going to talk about the flashy buzzwords everyone throws around.
Right, right.
We're going deeper to the foundation of it all.
Okay, I like it.
Operating systems.
Operating systems.
Yeah, you might think that sounds a little,
Computer Science 101.
Yeah, exactly. Like super basic.
Yeah.
But trust me, this stuff, it's like the hidden backbone of the entire cloud revolution.
I agree completely. I mean, it's amazing how much people just kind of take it for granted and just like,
Totally.
yeah. And it's the foundation for everything else.
Yeah. And so we've got this university level operating systems syllabus here.
Okay.
It's full of, what you'd expect, all the dense academic jargon.
Right.
But to make things more interesting, we're also looking at the career of this cloud engineer named Myra.
Okay.
And her resume is basically a roadmap to success in this field.
Oh, wow. So we're going to see how the theory actually translates to real world work.
To real world success.
Nice.
So, okay, the syllabus throws around terms like concurrent programming, inter-process communication, and resource management.
Right. Yeah. You got to know all that stuff.
But I gotta be honest, they sound a bit like a foreign language to me.
Uh-huh. I hear you. They can be a little intimidating at first.
Yeah.
But they're actually not that complicated once you break them down.
Okay.
Think about it like this. Imagine you're conducting an orchestra.
Okay.
Concurrent programming is like making sure that all the different instruments are playing the right parts at the right time.
Oh, okay. So each instrument, or in this case, each program, is doing its own thing.
Yeah, exactly. But they all need to work together in harmony without stepping on each other's toes.
Okay, that's a really good analogy.
And then inter-process communication. That's how those instruments or programs talk to each other.
Like the conductor giving cues.
Right, exactly.
Well,
or like different sections of the orchestra responding to each other's melodies.
got it.
Yeah.
And then resource management, that's got to be like making sure the orchestra has enough instruments, the right sheet music, even like the right temperature in the concert hall.
Haha, you got it. It's all about making sure that everything runs smoothly and efficiently.
Okay.
And that's true whether you're talking about an orchestra or a complex cloud system.
Speaking of cloud systems, Myra's resume is packed with them. AWS, Terraform, Kubernetes. It's a lot.
Yeah, those are the big ones these days.
Yeah, but what I'm starting to realize is that all these cloud technologies, they're built on those core OS concepts.
100%. That's the key takeaway here.
Yeah.
Understanding how operating systems work at a fundamental level is what allows you to really understand these really powerful cloud technologies.
Right.
Like let's take resource management, for example, in the cloud. It's not just theoretical. It directly translates to how efficiently you're using server storage computing power.
Right. And that can actually save a company a lot of money.
Exactly. And that's
Yeah.
just one example. Think about distributed systems, another big concept in OS. Well, large-scale cloud platforms are distributed systems.
So Myra's knowledge of how to manage and troubleshoot these systems would be super valuable to any company using AWS.
Absolutely. And we can see how this plays out in her career. She starts out in this support role at AWS,
Okay.
which makes sense. She's got the basics down, but she's still learning the specifics of that platform.
Right.
And then, boom, she moves up to senior DevOps engineer at like 2 different companies.
Wow, that's pretty fast.
Right. And you see as she levels up how she starts to specialize in these key areas like automation and infrastructure management.
Yeah, and she has so many certifications, like 5 AWS certifications alone, plus Terraform, Kubernetes, a bunch more.
Exactly.
She's committed to learning.
Yeah. And that's what's so exciting about the cloud. It's always changing, so you need to keep learning to stay ahead.
Right. So it's like those OS concepts, they're like a secret language that unlocks the power of the cloud.
You got it.
And Myra's career is proof that if you can speak that language fluently, it can take you really far.
Yeah, for sure. And we're just scratching the surface here.
I know, right? There's so much more to unpack.
I know.
Let's dive back into Myra's resume, specifically those tools she's mastered, like Datadog and CircleCI.
Okay, let's do it.
What can we learn from those?
Yeah, let's see. Okay, so Datadog and CircleCI.
Yeah, they sounded pretty impressive, but honestly, I'm not really sure what they do.
Okay, well, let's start with Datadog. Imagine you're a pilot flying like a super complex aircraft.
Okay.
Datadog is kind of like having this heads-up display that shows you real-time insights into like every single system on that plane.
Oh, so like X-ray vision for your cloud applications and infrastructure.
Exactly. It's all about what we call observability. being able to see how everything's performing, identify potential issues before they blow up.
Right, and that's going to be super important when you're dealing with something as complex as the cloud.
Absolutely. And what's really interesting is that Datadog's power, it comes from its ability to use those core OS concepts we were talking about.
Right.
Remember resource management.
Hmm.
Datadog's constantly monitoring how your applications are using things like CPU memory disk space.
Oh, wow.
And it can like alert you if something starts acting weird, like suddenly using a ton of memory,
Right.
which could be a bug or a sign that the system's about to overload.
So it's like a super-powered system administrator that never sleeps.
Haha, pretty much. And it's not just about reacting to problems.
Okay.
Datadog also helps you optimize your cloud infrastructure, like finding places where you might be overspending on resources or where you could be more efficient.
So it's like a financial advisor for your cloud.
You got it. Now let's talk about Circle CI,
Okay.
which focuses on this idea of continuous integration and continuous delivery, or CI/CD.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that term, but I've always been a little fuzzy on what it actually means.
Okay, imagine you're building a car.
Okay.
Like in the old days, you'd have all these different teams working on different parts in isolation.
Right.
And then at the very end, you try to put it all together and hope it worked.
And hope for the best.
Yeah. But with CI/CD, you're constantly integrating those parts as you're building them, testing them along the way to make sure everything fits together.
So it's like building that car on an assembly line where at each stage you're adding a new part, but also testing that everything still works.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And that's what Circle CI does for software development.
Oh, cool.
Developers push their code changes, and Circle CI automatically runs tests, builds the software, even deploys it to the cloud automatically.
Wow. So no more late nights trying to fix bugs before a big release.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it can definitely save a lot of stress and time.
Great.
And this is where Myra's expertise in automation comes in.
Oh, yeah.
By setting up these CI/CD pipelines with Circle CI, she can really speed up the development process, reduce errors, and get things out to users faster.
That's impressive. So she's not just a cloud expert, she's an automation expert too.
Exactly. It's all connected.
It's no wonder she's so successful.
It really shows how powerful it can be to combine those technical skills with a really forward-thinking mindset.
Right. And her experience with Datadog and Circle CI, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, there's a lot more to uncover in her resume.
Like we mentioned Terraform before, which is described as infrastructure as code.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds pretty futuristic to me.
It is.
I'd love to understand how that works and how it connects to everything else we've been talking about.
Let's definitely dive into that.
So infrastructure as code. I'm trying to picture this like some kind of virtual architect, but instead of blueprints, they're using code to build entire cloud environments.
Yeah, you're actually not that far off. Haha. It's a way of managing your cloud infrastructure using code instead of like clicking around in a web interface.
Okay, so instead of logging into a server and configuring things manually,
Yeah.
you're writing code that tells the cloud provider what you need.
Exactly. Let's say you want to set up a new web server. Traditionally, you'd have to log in, install the software configure, the network setup security, all these steps, and it's easy to mess up.
Yeah, I've tried that before. Definitely not easy.
Right. But with Terraform, you define all that in code. You say what kind of server, what operating system, what software, how it should be networked, all the security settings.
Okay.
Then you just run Terraform, and it talks to your cloud provider's API, and it builds that server automatically exactly how you told it to.
So it's like having a robot sysadmin that never makes mistakes.
Uh-huh, pretty much. And if you need to make changes, you just update the code, and Terraform figures out how to apply those changes to your existing infrastructure.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool.
And this brings us back to that key OS concept, automation.
Right.
Terraform takes the principles of system administration and turns them into code, automating the whole process.
That makes so much sense, especially when you're talking about these massive, complex cloud environments.
Exactly. No more manual configuration, less room for human error, and it's all documented.
Yeah, that documentation aspect is huge.
Right. With Terraform, your entire infrastructure is defined in code, so it's version controlled. You can track changes, see who did what, and even roll back to older versions if something breaks.
So you have a complete history of every change ever made.
Exactly. And it makes it way easier to collaborate.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Like if you're on a team, everyone can see the code, contribute to it, and understand how the infrastructure works. No more like tribal knowledge or scribbled notes.
Oh, that's awesome.
It really is a game changer.
So it sounds like Terraform is taking those fundamental OS concepts like automation, configuration management, resource allocation, and bringing them to the cloud.
Absolutely. It's powerful and elegant.
Yeah, and when you look at Myra's resume, she's clearly not just mastered these tools, but really understands the underlying principles.
Yeah, for sure. Her expertise in Terraform, combined with her deep knowledge of OS and cloud platforms, makes her a real leader in the field.
It's really inspiring to see how someone can take this theoretical knowledge and build such a successful career in such a cutting-edge field.
Yeah, it's proof that understanding operating systems isn't just for academics. It opens up so many doors in the cloud world.
I know. I feel like my understanding of cloud computing has gone way up after this deep dive.
That's great to hear.
We went from these abstract OS concepts to real tools and technologies. It's amazing to see how it all connects.
It is pretty amazing how it all comes together.
Maybe this deep dive has sparked an interest in a cloud career for some of our listeners.
I hope so. There's so many opportunities out there.
Yeah, if you're curious, definitely take a look at Myra's resume. It's a roadmap to success in a field that's just going to keep growing.
Definitely a great place to start.
Well, thanks for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of operating systems and cloud computing. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.